Our third day of Solution Summit 2025 is coming to an end. Shortly after this, we are headed up to Cheyenne Mountain for our closing reception. But for now, I'm sitting with Lisa Maurer from ConsensioHealth, who's going to talk to us about her contributions to EDPMA. Lisa, thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you. I've had a handful of years with EDPMA to get involved, and the more I do, the more I want to get involved more. I'll tell you, my heart lives with the committees of EDPMA. I feel as if that is where the work of the organization gets done, where the rubber meets the road, and where the strategy and the vision actually gets turned into action. And so that's where I started and where I really continue to want to keep contributing. Not to pick favorites, but my favorite is the State Regulatory and Insurance Committee. I think I feel really passionate about state-based regulation and legislation for that matter, and I feel like that's what affects my practice the most, that's what affects our billing company the most, and in fact the patients that we care for. And so I love to dig in there, and it has everything to do from interacting with the carriers and their policies to interacting with the regulators that make those policies work for the patients that we care for. And then kind of from that base, become more involved in the conferences themselves. I've had the opportunity to share my learnings and my experiences as a speaker at Solution Summit a few times, get involved with some webinars and workshops, getting that more detailed and those action plans and solutions in place. And then I am so pumped to recently have been elected to the board and just starting my term on the board right now as part of ConsensioHealth. So that's super exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you've done so far. You mentioned the committee work, which is something that we continue to hear from everyone is sort of the bread and butter of what we do. That's where a lot of the work and the impact that we have in our field happens. And 2 days ago was committee day, and a really important day, and we had a lot of really great conversations. Lisa, from your perspective, what are some of the biggest challenges facing our field?
I would say it's absolutely kind of like the changing industry around emergency medicine. Of course, in the RCM business, I think about the finances, like no money, no mission. And I think it's twofold. One is just the changing specialty itself, from advancing from the beginnings of being within the four walls of the emergency department, now extending to pre-hospital, post-acute care, and everything in between. There's no better, in my opinion, my biased opinion, no better master of the healthcare industry in general to be able to help our patients navigate that system. And I love to think about emergency medicine as not just, stabilizing that acute emergency, but helping the patient to, in essence, prevent the next emergency and make sure that they get back to their baseline of health after the emergency. So there's that, and then there's the funding and valuing of that change in the specialty. And then what's more, there's the downward pressure of the reimbursement for the historical services that we provide. And it's kind of, I think, redefining how the community, the public in general, values us as a quantity, the true safety net, and a public utility in a way, that we are there regardless of the time, place, need, circumstance, and what is the value of that, even if it's not one episode that we're caring for one patient. That kind of, we're always there regardless, has a value, and it's defining that value, which is certainly not a light lift, but what we're presented with at this time.
Right. And of course, the main point of Solution Summit is to find solutions to a lot of these challenges that we're facing. And speaking of Solution Summit, why is it important for people to be here?
I would say the Solution Summit is the #1 member benefit. I think it's, even more than like the online toolkits and the action plans and the templates that we can take back to our communities, it's the people, right? It's kind of like the meeting of the minds, both from the clinical and the supporting services standpoint. There's no other time throughout the year that everyone kind of comes to the table to have that back hallway conversation about what are you dealing with? Oh, I've dealt with that. My success was here. My challenge is here. It's a small, small world. And this is where I come to, see my friends from around the country who can identify with the challenges and successes that we're dealing with in my community, but also to kind of learn best practices and make sure that you're staying abreast of what you should be working on for your patients.
Yeah, that's great. Nothing beats being in person together, right? There's the conversations that you can have in person that just don't happen naturally when you're virtually meeting. But if we pull back kind of go beyond Solution Summit. You were bringing up some of the additional benefits or things that we do throughout the year.
Yeah.
EDPMA is a trade association, meaning our organizational members, their employees get all the benefits since they are members of EDPMA. So why should an organization be a member of EDPMA, kind of going beyond just Solution Summit?
Right. So just to kind of play off what I was saying before, I would say that the toolkits that EDPMA provides are priceless. It's, everyone is working in parallel in our own little pillars around the country, and we're all facing similar challenges. And so all boats rise. We kind of create the tools and put them out there for our members to have the conversations, have the written communication that really speaks to the value of emergency medicine and how you interact with the other stakeholders in the industry. But even more than that, I would say it's really the advocacy piece. There isn't another organization that takes both the clinical perspective and the supporting vendors and partner organizations, and with that comes the strength of data. Mm-hmm. And honestly, this organization does a fantastic job of taking that kind of all points of view on behalf of the patient, fueled by data, and bringing it to the Hill on behalf of our patients.
That's exactly right. Lisa, I know that you have a flight to catch, so thank you so much for sitting at this nice table and talking to me.
Thank you.